Hey everybody, welcome to the Creativity Cave. I'm Dina Rico and I am thrilled that you're here stamping with me today because I have the most amazing thing to share with you today. And I suspect that if you're even a teensy tiny eeny weeny little bit like me, you have this problem. And that is you have a little bit of DSP laying around. You've shopped a few times here and there. You placed some orders with your demonstrator, with me, with whoever. And somewhere along the line, you amassed a collection of printed paper that could rival any episode of Hoarders. In fact, your husband has called the show, the producers are on their way, and the psychologist is literally scheduling an intervention. Well, it might not be quite that bad, but I suspect you have a lot of printed paper laying around that you're not quite sure what to do with, or as I suspect many of you have the same problem I do, it's just too pretty to look at or to cut into. You like looking at it, but cutting it, it'd be like a sacrilege. Well, I'm here today to bust your hoard. So that sounds like kind of dirty. Anyway, I'm so excited. I spent some time working on this and I'm thrilled with what I came up with. So let me share with you what I've done. So last night, I knew that this was going to be my video for today, but I wasn't sure how I was going to go about doing it. So last night, I started making sketches and I came up with, like how would you use your printed paper? And, sometimes you have full sheets, sometimes you don't have full sheets. But what I came up with were a series of card sketches, and I have pages of them, where I've drawn out basically a card and then how I would do the paper on the card. So they go from really basic to somewhat complex, and I will show you what I mean as I go. But it's really so easy to use DSP and make beautiful cards and then send those cards to people and spread some joy, spread some love. So how do you do it? Well, first of all, I've got a few tips before you start making cards. Have you thought about envelopes? So we have in our catalog a set of 3 envelope liners. Here's one of them, and they coordinate with the 3 types of envelopes that we carry. So we have the A2 card, which is, your standard size card like this. Then this is a note card, an envelope, or sometimes that's referred to as a 3 bar, 4 bar, something like that. And it's 3.5 by 5 folded, the card is, so the envelope's just a little bigger. And then this is a 3 by 3, which is like a gift enclosure for a gift. And these are so easy. They use up a nice amount of DSP for each one of them. So it's great to cut and have to coordinate with a card. So that is a really great way. And these envelope liners have been around for a while, but I just got them. I just started using them and I really like the way it looks. It makes your card look so professional. Okay, so that's one way. Another way is to actually make envelopes yourself. So we have the envelope punch board. Let me grab mine. It's a great tool. It comes just like this. It has 60 different card sizes on here to create custom envelopes for all of those different sized cards that anything you can think of, it can make an envelope for. Okay, so let me show you another way to do this. I'm going to pull out some of these cards that I've got here and show you some of my sketches. So the very first one is, it couldn't be easier. You just put a strip of cardstock down and then add your greeting, right? Now, you can use this greeting if you want. Dina is the most awesome demonstrator ever. It's up to you. Or something else. Let me show you what I did. So I have 2 different options for this. The first one is where I have made a little 3 by 3 card to coordinate with this. I just took that little strip of cardstock. In this case, here I have a 1/2 inch, here I have 1 inch, and then I added some stamping and that's it. All super simple, easy to do. Okay, and of course the coordinating envelope. Then another way I could do this is turn it on its side, and then I stamped some things, added the printed paper. The black and white printed paper I think is so awesome. It really punches things up and makes things really stand out. For this one, I used the stamp set Ray of Sunshine, which is right here. Very pretty, fun set. And given that there is a wind chill warning right now, wind chill warning where I live in Iowa. I think this is kind of perfect. We've also had a blizzard this week, so I think we need a little sunshine in our life. Okay, great card. And super easy, right? This is my basic sketch, and then I created two kind of totally different things from that basic sketch. So that I love. Okay, next I have this. This is my sketch that I made, and the cool thing is I think you could do this, you know, a whole bunch of different ways. You know, you can turn it around and make it the way you like it. So I chose to use some really pretty new printed paper we have called, I think it's called Birthday Blooms, something like that. It's in the Occasions catalog. I just cut this little piece of cardstock, added a scrap of white cardstock that I had, and stamped a little greeting on the inside. Of course, I have my coordinating envelope. And I think this just looks fantastic and is really simple to use and uses up some pieces of cardstock that I have, as well as a strip of white cardstock that I have laying around. So I love that. All right. Speaking of strips of cardstock, here's another sketch that I have done, and it's just 1-inch strips of cardstock. I think these are 1 inch, maybe they're 3/4. Can't remember. Oh, they're 3/4 of an inch. So these are just strips of cardstock that I've lined up, and then I cut them. You know, they were actually, I just had 1-inch strips of cardstock, and then I just attached them on the diagonal to my card, and then cut off the edges, you know, that stick off from adhering them. Let me show you the card. So that's my sketch. Now this is an odd size card as well. So this is 3.5 by 5.5. So of course I needed an envelope to coordinate with it. So I used my envelope punch board to create this envelope. This one was, oh no, that's my paper trimmer. Sorry. This one right here, 3.5 by 5.5, is called a Gladstone. Never heard of it, but who knew? Now let me show you the card I made out of it. So remember, that's my sketch. Here's my card using that gorgeous DSP that I cut into, and there was like a collective gasp around the world when I cut into that paper, but oh, it's so pretty. But how beautiful is this? So easy. This could be any kind of card you needed. Sometimes it's nice to leave cards blank so that you can stamp on them later with the greeting that you might need coming up. Now this is a little bit different sketch. Love it. Okay. Of course it has a fantastic saying on it, but this is a piece of printed paper that fits my whole card, and then a piece of white cardstock on top. And then we have the, you know, these butterflies that are so cool. And what's neat is you can, see the DSP below it, so it peeks through the holes in the butterfly. Hello, how awesome is that? So I took this card and I changed it up a little bit, and that is the amazing card I came up with. This uses the Rose Wonder stamp set and coordinating framelits. Same concept. Cut this out, and you can see the pieces behind. I also popped this up. If you can see, there's little bits of dimensional under there, and let me show you how I did that, because it was really simple. I'm gonna take this virgin sheet of dimensionals, and I'm going to just take and slice through each one of these like so. So I'm cutting it into 4 or 5 strips. Leave all the backings on, and then just peel these individually and stick them under that thin bit of your framelit. And you can put them on, like here's one I've cut. You can put them on in several different places if you want. I just think this looks so awesome. Yay! I love this card. I'm pretty proud of myself. Can you tell? Now I want to add one more thing to this. So this card is great, and my piece is 4.25 by 5.5. But what if you don't have a 4.25 width size paper? Well, I had, actually that happened to me. I had used all this DSP up in my pack. So, but I did have a 4-inch piece. So here I have my card. So I adjusted the width of this piece down just a little bit, and then of course the bigger piece down. And I think this makes a really awesome card too. So think a little bit out of the box when you're doing this to create your cards and use what you have. All right, now if you are wondering how you can possibly get your hands on all these sketches, and I have about 40 so far, please go visit my blog. The link will be in the description of this video. I will have all the details on how you can get all of these amazing sketches so that you can use up the DSP that you just maybe have laying around your house. I hope you're sitting there going, no, I have tons of DSP. I don't know. I know you all have it. In fact, one of my I put a little teaser about my video on Instagram and Facebook, and one of my customers responded, does the Pope have, or is the Pope Catholic? Gosh, could I have ruined that? Sorry. Is the Pope Catholic? Of course you have DSP laying around. Even if you haven't been stamping, I'm guessing you probably have some. It's just part of crafting. Anyway, I really, really encourage you to cut into those glorious, beautiful sheets of cardstock and make glorious, beautiful cards. Please check out my blog, like I said. And if you loved this video, would you please share it with your friends? Help me get the word out. I'm trying so hard and I need your help. Also, if you are desperate to buy all these amazing things that I've shown you, or some of them, please go to my blog, thecreativitycave.com, and check out the supplies I used in my online store. I would so appreciate it. I have fantastic rewards for my VIPs. Those are people who've purchased through me, and I would love to be your demonstrator. Thank you so much, guys. Have an awesome weekend. Bye.